everybody to BC Speak Up, our very own college podcast. My name is Elio Mizrahi, your club director of Brooklyn College and your host. The purpose of the podcast is to spotlight different clubs we have on campus and, of course, to get to know our student leaders much better. In our previous episode, we spoke with Adesowa from the FAM Club about what it means being a first-generation student, about service, and about public health. Today, I'm pleased to have with me David Dweck. David Dweck is a senior majoring in public accounting and business management and finance. During his time at Brooklyn College, he has served 2 terms in the Senate working on the Policy Council to bring the issues of Brooklyn College students to the forefront of the administration discussions. Besides that, he also sits on the executive board of the Accounting Society. David believes that through student activities and student life, we can increase the satisfaction and ultimately the graduation and employment rate of all of Brooklyn College students. So first of all, David, how are you today?
Well, thank you for having me. It's great day. Always a great day.
Listen, I'm thrilled and, an honor to have you. I feel like you have so much experience under your belt, that you can share with everybody. And I'm excited to see, what you can share with us today.
Absolutely. I love to bring whatever experience I can and however I can help to the forefront of the Brooklyn College community to try to make our college the best college we have.
Awesome. I love hearing that. So how long have you been, first of all, a part of the Accounting Society Club?
So I've been a member of the Accounting Society Club for a while, since about my 2nd semester, but I've served on the executive board for 2 years. Now, as one of the largest academic clubs with hundreds of members, we have a booming WhatsApp chat and two WhatsApp chats, actually. We have dozens of events every year with over 100 people in many of them. And I found that the people who join clubs, the people who get involved, the people who put their faces in front of recruiters, the recruiters that we on the Accounting Society are able to bring to Brooklyn College, those are the people that are more satisfied in their college life. They're more satisfied with Brooklyn College. They're more likely to give back to the community after they graduate, and they're more likely to graduate themselves and succeed after graduation. And that's what got me not just to join the Accounting Society, but to actually run for the executive board and win.
That is first of all, that is very inspiring. I think people do not understand the value sometimes, behind clubs. And I think the Accounting Society is such a model of a club when it comes to their internships, when it comes to, the networking, the people on it. I think it's, and of course, sadly right now it's COVID, but their food is also top notch. So you guys, next semester or another 2 semesters, depending when we can all safely go back on campus, definitely check out the Accounting Society Club. If not for the people, definitely for the food though. So, besides that, I feel like, you've been 2 years already, in the Accounting Society Club, as you said. And, you already have been there for a while. So what has been, your most memorable event so far being a part of this club?
So as the Accounting Society, we understand what we are. We're an academic club. But like you said, with the food and with the big crowds, we do try to bring this kind of social sense into it. And one of the most memorable events we had was the beginning of fall of last year. So the last semester we were really in person. We had an event with PwC, the largest accounting firm that recruits in Brooklyn College and one of the largest accounting firms in the world. And normally those events garner about 50, 60 people. We had well over 150 people, and the recruiters, the professionals at the event said it was one of the largest events they've seen ever. And these include much larger colleges in SUNY, Baruch College, which people think is much more professional than Brooklyn College, but it's really not. And having this showing of Brooklyn College students and the interest that Brooklyn College students have to succeed really helped propel us and our college into the spotlight with many of these employers. And the effect of that event made it most memorable for me, in my opinion.
That is, I think, first of all, that is incredible, to hear, being able to host, and, have that connections, with different firms, different companies, and, having that, basically able to provide, the platform for both students and those companies is so vital, for not just the success of the club, but also, for the success, for people that are going to graduate, sooner rather than later. And do you yourself, have like what kind of opportunities did the Accounting Society Club provide you with?
In general, the Accounting Society, because of its large amount of members and the fact that it's been around for a while, and we try to build with it this kind of connection to the Accounting Society. And that helps us when we try to bring professionals back who were former Accounting Society members. And bringing successful people in the workforce who were formerly part of the Accounting Society, it has this kind of fraternity or sorority effect where it helps with networking and helps with opportunities. But beyond the job opportunities and the professional opportunities that it brings, it helps students who are currently in college and who are focusing on their graduation keep that end goal in mind and not get lost in the journey.
Yeah, that is definitely important. It's something I've been hearing, in the past, the past few questions that we asked, is about talking with people, communicating, networking, which I feel like networking is such a valuable asset that, that everybody, and it's such a valuable skill. There's this saying like, your network equals your net worth. So, how important is really, networking? And I want to just hear it from you, and, how does joining a club help you with that?
Well, networking is the most important thing that anyone could do while they're in college. It's the exact reason why the Ivy League schools are so expensive, and the reason why people are running from them so quickly right now during the pandemic, because they lost that opportunity. But we at Brooklyn College have these opportunities here. And what saddens me is that so many people are blowing it. They're not coming to events, not just ours, but the academic events that are held by the clubs in their major. They're not going to those events. They're not meeting people in the field. They're not talking with recruiters. They're not showing their face. And as a matter of fact, one of the recruiters at one of the largest accounting firms came on to Brooklyn College and said this. It's not an exact quote, but the spirit's the same. Sometimes I see a resume and I see the name of a student, and this is a person I know, and I see, oh, I know this person. And I don't even bother to look at the resume. I just approve them for an interview. And that opportunity to be approved for an interview without having to go through the system, without having to go through the algorithms, and without getting ignored. They say the average time a recruiter looks at a resume is 7 to 30 seconds. But to have that first thing that shows up is your name and it's automatically approved just because the recruiter has seen your face, to have that opportunity is incredible. And that opportunity is available to so many students in Brooklyn College. And the people who throw it away, it's upsetting because it's one of the biggest things, one of the most important things you could do in college. And having that there and not taking advantage of it is it's upsetting.
To the service. So, I feel like a lot of students, first of all, I think what you said is, again, it's super important. And I think that every college student, no matter what college, you're from, has to utilize this, to the utmost, to their best of their abilities. But I think one of the things that, popped up, actually in my mind recently, and a few other friends that, just recently also joined college, because everything right now is online, they do not have it's not the same to network, and it's not as easy, even if it's on a level, of making friends in college, if it's to, interacting with clubs. So like, what would you suggest for students that want to start developing their network themselves? And especially right now in a COVID period when everything is online, you don't get to see face-to-face and interact like how we usually did.
It is very difficult to network online. I understand the issues. I understand the difficulty. I'm trying to, as part of the Accounting Society, we are trying to assist people in networking, build networks, get people together. But it is very hard to build friendships with people that you've never met. But one of the things that we've been doing, and it's been working to an extent, is hosting these online events with recruiters. And you join a Zoom, you join a Microsoft Teams, you join a WebEx, you join a Google Meet, and you keep your camera on. And these professionals, they're looking through the pictures, they're looking through the cameras, they see the names, they notice you. It's a lot harder because you're not able to speak to them one-on-one in person at the end of an event. You're not allowed to stand up. You're not able to stand up and ask a question. But any opportunity that you have, you need to be able to take. But there is a difficulty in being online, and hopefully with the announcement of vaccine that's been 90% effective, we can get back to in-person gatherings as soon as possible, and we can bring networking and the successful networking that we've been able to do in the past back to all those students. And hopefully with only 2 semesters or 2.5 semesters lost, it's not such a big difficulty for people who are here 6 or 8 or 10 semesters.
Yeah, that is definitely, I hear you. I think the best way, somebody can get involved is, again, jumping onto those events and, trying to, communicate with the professionals on there. Again, I also speak from my personal experience for a bit. I was able to get kind of get closer to a professional in the real estate industry just because I was in the event, followed up with him in email, and till now we've been in touch. And this was only in a half an hour meeting without doing anything. So the possibilities are out there. It's only up to, each and every individual to go and, seize it for themselves. But
absolutely.
Sorry, what did you say?
Those opportunities are out there. They may be a little more difficult to bring, but connecting with people and taking the opportunities when they're offered are a necessity to be successful.
Absolutely. And you've been giving so many practical tips, and talk about networking, and I feel that also stems, from you being a student leader, not just on the accounting society club, but also, being in the Senate, in student government. So I really want to know how did you start your journey, joining the Senate? What motivated you? What inspired you to become a part of it?
When my second semester in Brooklyn College, I decided to run for Senate. I was one of those students who had just got involved with student life, and it absolutely turned my world around. My first semester in Brooklyn College, I joined the college, and like many of the other people who joined their first semester, especially to a commuter school like Brooklyn College, we come in the morning, we show up, we do our classes, we leave and go to work. But once I started joining clubs, I realized that that's not the way to get a job. And the ultimate goal of coming to college is graduating and getting a job. And if college is not going to help me get a job because I'm not taking advantage of those opportunities, how many other people are there that are missing out on that? I joined the Senate to help bring people into student life. And I mean, you, as one of the leaders as well, probably understand how different it is when students are part of student life versus not part of student life. I have many friends in the college who have been my friends before they joined college, and their satisfaction are not as high as mine is, because they show up, they consider it a chore, and they leave. And they're not being part of the fun. They're not being part of the clubs. They're not getting in on the excitement, and they're not getting in on the networking, and they're missing all the benefit. If you're coming here just to get a degree, you've got an important part of college, but you've missed the most important part of college. And I joined the Senate so I can help as many people as possible get the most important part of college out of Brooklyn College and out of their college experience.
Yeah, I definitely, what you said right now, speaks for on so many different levels. 2 points that I also want to add and build on your point is I remember an old man once upon a time told me listen, we don't go to college for a degree, we go for the networking, because that's what's later on going to help you much longer in life, down the road, down your journey of life. And the second point, people that are more involved on campus, if it's just being a part of a club, if it's being on the executive board, and if it's later on, whoever wants to join the student government, having that sense of purpose and that sense of urgency, being of service to others, I feel it's such a fulfilling, and as you said, satisfying experience to have. So I definitely agree with you that on so many different levels. But one of the other issues that have been brought up, and not just from different student leaders, is the fact that everything right now is online, and it forced the hands of so many to start adapting to it. As a senator and as a student leader, what has been your biggest obstacle you had to overcome with everything that's being virtual right now?
Well, I think with COVID, bringing everything online, as a student in general in college. So not just for me, not just for Brooklyn College, but as a college student in the United States and being forced to take classes online. I think COVID has given all of us a real important opportunity to get into the system of not being able to meet people every single day, not being able to talk face to face, and not being able to join meetings in person, which is absolutely out there in the real world. And this opportunity is a learning experience that could be used, but unlike in the real world, the consequences of not being successful are not a loss of job. So the opportunity is out there to learn a valuable skill without the consequence of doing it in the real world. But as a senator, and in my particular case, in the case of the Senate, we've been able to move to online, and we've been conducting our business as much as possible, and even more than in the past, because of the challenges that have come with COVID and the changes that have needed to be made. We've been working on a lot of bills and a lot of resolutions and a lot of changes and bringing to the forefront of the administration as many things as we could do to try to help students that are struggling to deal with COVID.
Yeah, that's absolutely, I think, vital. The work that Senate does. I'm grateful, to be able to work with you all, and it's such a humbling opportunity. And each and every one of you guys over there are such incredible individuals on a personal level and also on a professional level. So first of all, let me express how grateful I am for that, and that's by itself. And you did say a few resolutions, bills, they have been passing. Would you be able to share a few projects that the Senate is actually working now to better our campus?
So, I mean, all your listeners and you probably heard of the term the first 100 days in office. And when we first started in July, when we first took office, we had a lot of changes that needed to be made and needed to be put in place before school started so that we wouldn't get stuck with dealing with any of these issues. We passed the budget. We amended the Constitution and the bylaws to fit the needs of the Brooklyn College community in an evolving world. But once the urgent stuff was done, the urgent stuff with COVID was done, we moved on to other things that the Brooklyn College community has been looking for and looking at in previous years as well. In particular, how to spend money, how to improve the infrastructure of the college, how to improve websites online for clubs, for departments, the Brooklyn College website, and other things like that. And we've been moving on doing that as well. And on the topic of online expansion, the USG website that's been built has been an extraordinary tool that hopefully has been used by many students out there, but it serves as well as a template for the college in general to look at when building their own website. It's easy to navigate, it's easy to follow, and it's visually appealing. And it's not too complex where I get lost looking for something, but it's also not too simple where it's missing so much information. And this buildup on websites and on online services has been a big push that I've been doing with Aaron, the chief of staff to the president, but the rest of the Senate as well. We've been moving on to a lot of bills. The Senate's been working on a list. I don't know if it's posted online or not, but there's a list of about 10 resolutions that the Senate's been looking to pass, varying from increased class loads, lowering the number of students in a class, the spending on infrastructure, the New York State funding CUNY with more money, and various other things that the USG could use their voice and use their power to help student life improve.
That is, first of all, that's a lot. And being a part of this process with you is something that's again, it's really something that's humbling and, incredible at the same time. And for those of us who want to hear more, can definitely reach student government, maybe more than willing, to answer all of your questions and all your concerns about it. And actually, there's something that you touched about, that you jumped a bit forward, and it's actually talking about the websites for clubs. So whoever that is listening right now and did not hear or does not know about this, student government has started giving out websites to clubs for free. You don't need to pay anything. And this is something that comes out from student government, from Brooklyn College, in order to help propel your club even further down the line. For an example, the Accounting Society themselves have such an incredible website. So I'll definitely put in the link down below that you can check it out. And whoever wants to know more about this project can also contact us. You can contact me in the club director email. You can send an email to student government. But as already David touched upon, it's a website that you can put all the information of your club in there, your events, pictures, and actually have that domain, that address on the internet that is so crucial for every single business and for every single club, of course. So another thing that I really want to ask you, David, before we go to the personal round questions, is students who want to join student government, what would you suggest?
Well, the first thing, it's obvious, you just got to run. You can't get on student government if you don't run. If your name's on the ballot, then you have a chance of getting elected. If your name's not on the ballot, then it's a lot more difficult. You need a lot more people to write in. Now, we've made it easier with the new amendments to the bylaws to allow write-in candidates to win, but the number of votes for write-in has normally been around at most 10, whereas the number of votes for somebody on the ballot has been well over 400, 500, 600, maybe even up to 1,000. So the obvious thing is to run. Second, well, you have to have a message. You have to run on something. You have to have a reason that you want to get on student government, so that once you get there, you're not a sitting duck. You're not a dead sheep. You actually have motivation to do something once you're there. There are some people who have gotten on student government in the past who have not worked hard to pass a message, and they've just sat there and voted yes, voted no on various things. And they didn't leave a lasting legacy. They haven't done anything that shows that they're making a difference for the Brooklyn College community. But this year, we've worked really hard to bring, with Ethan leading, the president, we've worked very hard to bring as many senators and as many members of the executive office into writing bills, into pushing for things that they feel is important, into talking with students. And this podcast is one of those things where we can get student leaders in front of students so that students could ask questions, they could try to understand more, and they can get more involved. And this will help our government in the current time now and in the future going forward to better represent the students and to better succeed in improving life at Brooklyn College.
Yeah, I think just as you said, the best steps to actually join the student government, I feel like a lot of people have that get cold feet before they want to run, or they think the process is too long. But again, the secret is, at the end of the day, take that first step forward, and from there, people are going to help you. People from student government are going to help you. Everybody, as long as you have a purpose and you're doing it with intention, you will be able to get into student government if you invest your time and effort and energy. But
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's always people in student government who have been there before, who have experience, who know how to help. There's administrators as well, Ron Jackson, and anything. If you come in, you have a message, you push for it. But guess what? I don't like to mention this, but I'm going to do it anyway. For those who do run, for those who do win, and for those who get on student government and feel it is too difficult, you're not stuck there. So if you have a message and you feel like you should run, definitely run. Run, get on the ballot, push with a message. And if at that point you feel it's too difficult, at least you can't come out later and say, I could have, I should have, I would have. You can come out and say, I tried my hardest and it didn't work out.
Yep, that is golden over there, what you said. it all boils down taking that very first step, and not just in student government. I feel like in anything that we do in life, taking that first step is always the hardest, but the moment you take the first step, you begin your journey. And that is where all the fun things and, interesting things and all, I guess, the humbling experience, happen. So now, David, I actually want to jump with you to the personal round questions. It's a bit of more, as it says, more personal. It's actually really short answers, just to get to know you even better right now. So if you could change one thing about our college, what would it be?
One thing. Okay. Well, I sit on the policy council. You mentioned that in the beginning, and I've worked hard to bring the problems and the issues of students in front of the administration. But in the end, the policy council is made up of 30 people, 10 of those administrators, 10 of those faculty members, and 10 of those students. So our representation in the college, which we pay for, is only 33%. You continue to move up even farther, we get to the board of directors. Students pay on average for about 45-50% of the bill that it costs to send a person to college, yet they only have one representative on the CUNY Board of Trustees. One representative out of I don't remember the exact number, I believe it's either 17 or 19, something like that, but only one is a student. A majority of them is appointed by the governor, and a bunch of them are appointed by the mayor. The city doesn't spend a lot of money in CUNY, and yet they have way more members than we do. And this lack of control by the people who are actually in the college is something that needs to be changed, so that those people involved are the ones that are running the show, the people who those changes will affect are the people that are making the decisions on those changes, as opposed to bureaucrats up in Albany.
Yeah, that is one thing to change, that goes a long way. And people like that have the motivation, and the urgency, to pull stuff like that off. That's why you're sitting with where you are.
Yeah, it's a very difficult and it's a long-term process, and the problem has been that we have students who come in and they're there for a year or a year and a half or 2 years, and then they're gone. And that's why it's important for people who are freshmen and sophomores who could be involved for 3 or 4 years to get involved early. Don't think that with more experience and more time you'll be better off. No, start now. You start now and you get the experience on the job. It is the best way that you could help, because you could hold these administrators' feet to the fire when you're there for 3-4 years. There's the only thing that they hear is who's the loudest voice, who is there talking the most. And by loudest voice and talking the most, it doesn't mean a short period of time yelling. It means a long period of time continuously pushing.
Yep, that is definitely true. And I think that's in everything that we do, continuously pushing forward. And, actually, because, I feel like you're such a unique individual, because you're also on student government, also an executive board in a club. So what we really want to know is, what do you enjoy more, being on student government or on the e-board?
Well, each one has their own opportunity, and allows people to help, and allows me to help people in different ways. As part of the Accounting Society, I've helped bring employers in front of students and students in front of employers, helped with networking and things like that, so that post-graduation, we have students who are able to be successful in life. Whereas on student government, the job is, the other side, is to make sure that students get from where they are now to graduation so that they can have those post-graduation opportunities. And each of those work hand in hand to make sure that students come out of Brooklyn College successful.
Awesome. That is, again, as you said, both are different opportunities, but both are equally important, each on their own level, each on their own, sphere, if we put it like that. So another question is, what are the 3 most important traits for a leader in your opinion?
In my opinion, it's hard work, honesty, and integrity. As a leader, or as anyone, as a successful person in general, you're not going to get far in life if you don't have hard work. If you look at the studies of people who became millionaires by winning the lottery, they lost their money right away because they didn't have the blood, sweat, and tears that came with earning the money. the most likely people who have $1 million, between $1 to $3 million, have it in their 401k in their house. It's paying off that mortgage month after month after month, and it's investing in 401k month after paycheck after paycheck after paycheck. Long-term, continuous input, the hard work, the blood, the sweat, and tears. That's what leads to a successful leader and to a person to be successful in life. Honesty, integrity. Without those, you lose your trust. You lose the opportunities that other people put in front of you. And that's why it's important to have honesty and integrity and hard work as well.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. And for our last question, David, what are you most looking forward to next year?
Well, next year, a year from now, I should be graduating. So that
is definitely exciting.
But on top of that as well, I'm looking forward to working to help people in accounting. I'm graduating with accounting degree, working in public accounting, and many business owners know one of the hardest things in business is accounting, tax compliance, IRS compliance, SEC compliance, and I don't know if you listeners know all those three-letter organizations, but any organization that has 3 letters, it's run by the government, it's going to cause a lot of problems. And if you have an individual who could help you navigate those things to become a successful business, it's one of the most important things in my opinion. And not that other jobs aren't important, but that the ability to help people and to help people become successful is very fulfilling in my eyes, and that's what I look forward to.
Yeah, again, David, thank you so much for today. You've been, first of all, it's been an honor. Personally, I've learned so much from you from today. And for everybody that listened, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And we will definitely be sharing the Accounting Societies Club website down below. If you're also interested in getting your own website, definitely shoot an email to student government. You can also send it to me. I will put in the club director email also down below. If you guys interested in being a part of this big change and project. So thank you so much again, David. I genuinely appreciate
you for having me.